Welcome back to Mommy's Nursing Care from the Fundamentals of Nursing. Today we are going to discuss about the temperature sites. And temperature sites, we can collect the temperature or check the temperature from different sites, mainly like from forehead, oral temperature, axillary or armpit temperature, tympanic or ear temperature, rectal temperature, and groin temperature. These are all the six major sites of the temperature monitoring from where we can collect the temperature. And oral temperature and rectal temperature is called as most accurate temperature because it gives the accurate result, accurate measurement. Besides, armpit temperature and groin temperature is called as the least accurate. Why it is called as least accurate means, see, in case if we don't keep the thermometer in a correct mid-arm pit, if the thermometer tip of the thermometer is there either on that side or this side, and even the child may move so in that case also the temperature may gives least accurate measurement. See, this is the position where the how the rectal temperature is taken from the children. So either in the prone position or supine and legs lifted position we'll have to give to the child while we are taking the rectal temperature. And rectal temperature for in case of the children is the most accurate temperature because there is no chances of moving. So here the temperature is the balance between heat production and heat loss. The temperature we called as, what is the meaning of the temperature means, it is the balance between the heat production and heat loss. Heat production is also called as thermogenesis and heat loss is also called as thermolysis. Genesis means production, lysis means loss or breaking down. So here the most important thing here it is which controls the temperature production and loss, or otherwise which is the regulatory body in our body to regulate the temperature. Hypothalamus is the regulatory body in our body which presents in the brain, and hypothalamus is having two parts, anterior hypothalamus and posterior hypothalamus. Anterior hypothalamus works with the heat loss, whereas posterior hypothalamus controls heat production. Anterior hypothalamus controls the heat loss or regulates, I should say that it as regulates the heat loss system, and whereas posterior hypothalamus part regulates the heat production. So the heat production is also called as the thermogenesis. Thermogenesis, it is a chemical process. Remember this word, chemical process of heat production. For example, if we had food, digestion takes place. From digestion, some amount of heat will produce. That is called it as chemical process. Metabolism is a chemical process if we take it as an example. Okay, like that wise only. So each and every process of like fat metabolism, carbohydrate and protein metabolism, this is through the process of chemical. So the chemical reaction is taking place. So that's how the heat is producing. Not only that, when we work out during exercise also heat produces. That is also a chemical process. Whereas heat loss or thermolysis is a physical process of heat loss. That means through the natural, through the our body system functioning only, we are losing the heat. For example, conduction, convection, radiation. We will be discussing regarding these things in later slides. So remember that word, heat loss is a physical process, but whereas heat production or thermogenesis is the chemical process. These two words are very much important. And coming to the metabolism of food, through the metabolism of food we will produce some amount of heat. Now we are going to discuss about the heat production. What are the channels of heat production? How the heat is really producing in our body, human body. First one is through the metabolism of food. Carbohydrates metabolism. If 1 gram of carbohydrates gets metabolized, it can produce 4 kilocalories of energy. 4 kilocalories of energy, whereas fat gives like, and 1 gram of fat gives 9 kilocalories, and protein gives 1 gram of protein gives 4 kilocalories. Carbohydrates can give 4 kilocalories, 1 gram. So here we can see that how heat is producing. That means like, see, from the hot air temperature from the sun, it is going, heat is going inside, and high relative humidity. If humidity is more in the atmosphere, hotness is more in the atmosphere, it goes into the human body. And metabolic heat, if she is doing exercise and she's walking and running, so what it is happening, the body is metabolizing the carbohydrates, fats and proteins. That's how the heat is producing. And heat is radiating from the ground to the human body also. So another side, heat loss through the respiratory evaporation. Through the respiratory evaporation means when we exhale the air, through the air also some amount of the fluid will go out in the form of evaporation, and through the form of sweating and radiation from the body. And heat can directly radiate from the body to the atmosphere. And convection from wind, that means the cool wind also can take the hot from our heat from our body and cools our body. So coming to this one, normal requirement of the protein. So far we have discussed about the how much protein, 1 gram protein can produce kilocalories, 4 kilocalories. So I wanted to give you extra knowledge about normal requirement of the protein for an adult is about a 1 gram per 1 kg body weight. That means if a 50 kg person need to take 50 grams of protein per day. 50 kg person should take a 50 grams of protein per day. That is the requirement. And during pregnancy it increases plus 15 grams. That means if 50 grams weight is 50 kgs of body weight is there, a pregnant woman, along with the 50 grams she should take plus 15 grams extra of protein daily intake. And during lactation we should increase plus 25 grams. That means 50 plus 25, 75 grams of extra protein she should take daily. This is like about the protein intake. It is just an extra knowledge since the protein matter came, so I just told you about this one. And coming to the second process where the heat is producing during exercise, I already shown you a picture. So during exercise also some heat produces because the fat lysis takes place here, fat metabolism takes place here. And during emotion also, have you ever felt for example, you are just going to attempt a competitive exam, how your body heat will be? it will be higher than the normal temperature because of emotion, because of fear, because of scarcity, anxiety. Body temperature increases. Even emotion can produce some heat. And hormones, even hormones also can produce more heat, especially like for example is thyroid gland, which produces T3 and T4 hormones. So these T3 and T4 hormones helps in the metabolism, which produce heat. These T3 T4 helps in the metabolism of the food. So by the metabolism of the food again produces temperature. And even changes in the atmosphere. If atmosphere is cool, your body temperature will be cool. If atmosphere is so hot during summer season especially, our body temperature automatically rises because the radiation of the sun or otherwise the ground heat will heat our body and causes the body temperature to rise it. So these are all the five major things through which our body temperature is producing. The first one is metabolism of the food, carbohydrate, fat metabolism, and lipids metabolism, and protein metabolism. And the second thing is during exercise, and third thing is emotions. And if we emotionally imbalance, anger, short temper also it produces. And coming to the heat loss so is controlled by the anterior hypothalamus. Anterior hypothalamus is the one which controls the heat loss, and posterior controls over the heat production. So when body temperature increases, blood get warm. So this warm blood stimulates the anterior hypothalamus. This warm blood circulates to the hypothalamus, which stimulates the anterior hypothalamus and causes. When warm blood is passing through the hypothalamus, it sends impulses to the skin that the body is so hot. So the skin causes the vasodilatation means what happens, the blood vessels size gets increased. That's how it that more blood goes to the skin. When the more blood is passing through the skin, when more blood is passing through the skin, when more blood is passing through the skin, automatically it loses the heat from the body through the conduction. That means from the heat skin to the cool environment, from the higher concentration to the more concentration. See, this is how it works. The convection, moving air removes radiated heat. So whichever the heat is there in our body, it can remove that cool air through the convection process. And through the evaporation through the lungs, and evaporation in the form of sweat. When we exhale carbon dioxide, some amount of the moist heat also goes out in the form of evaporation. And from the sweating, and through the sweating also our heat will get evaporated outside and our body will become cool. So radiation, so the emission of the electromagnetic radiation, that means direct heat will shift from our body to the atmosphere. That is the radiation. Conduction, direct transfer by contact means if you sit, have you any time observed that if you sit on a seat for few minutes, the seat also becomes warm. And thanks for watching. This is the today's session. Please subscribe, share and like it. Thank you for your support. If you support, I will be doing more videos on different subjects of nursing. Thank you very much.